Most investors quit investing right before things start working, not because they're incapable, but because they underestimate how long compounding takes to accelerate. And that misunderstanding costs people years of progress. Good morning. Today we're talking about one of the most frustrating truths in long term investing. The hardest part happens right before the payoff. Here's what most people expect: they start investing, they contribute consistently, and they expect noticeable progress within a few years. But compounding doesn't work that way. The early years feel slow. Your portfolio grows, but not dramatically. The numbers move, but the acceleration isn't obvious. That's where patience gets tested. Now, here's the midpoint reality: compounding behaves like a curve. T first, the growth line is almost flat. Then gradually it bends upward, and eventually it accelerates. But most investors quit during the flat stage. They start questioning their strategy. They compare themselves to people chasing faster gains. They change direction. And when they interrupt the system, they reset the curve. Those reset cost time. Here's something many people never realize: the final years of compounding often produce the largest growth, not because you suddenly became smarter, but because the base number became larger. Growth compounds on growth, but it only happens if the system stays intact long enough. Now let's talk about the psychology behind quitting. When results feel slow, the brain assumes the strategy isn't working. It searches for something faster. Hot stocks, new strategies, different approaches, but speed often increases risk, and risk increases volatility. Volatility increases emotional decisions, and emotional decisions interrupt compounding. So the cycle repeats. Now ask yourself this question: if your strategy takes 15, 20 years to reach full acceleration, are you prepared to stay consistent that long? Because wealth isn't built in the exciting years. It's built in the discipline years. The investors who eventually reach financial independence usually aren't the most brilliant. They're the ones who stayed long enough for compounding to turn upward. Here's the practical takeaway. First, measure progress annually, not emotionally. Second, avoid changing strategy during temporary frustration. Third, focus on contribution consistency instead of short term performance, because contributions control the growth base. and growth base controls the compounding curve. Slow progress is not failure, it's the early stage of acceleration. Most investors quit before they reach that stage. The ones who stay eventually see the difference. If this helped you understand why patience matters more than excitement, subscribe because here we build wealth through discipline, not impatience.